thanks for joining us, and sorry for the technical difficulties, the hiccups as we're working through everything. But we are glad you could join us, and we wanted to talk a little bit about the first iteration of the show and where the show's going next. And we obviously have launched a fundraising campaign, and we wanted to explain, take some of your questions and explain a little bit about why we're doing that. And then listen to some music from the show as well, and kind of share some thoughts. So, John, you wanna take the lead?
Hold on one second. I wasn't listening. I was
Typical.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm chatting as Disco Biscuits in the chat because I'm logged in as Disco Biscuits.
You
I'm
are.
like thinking to myself, do I need to like make an account for me real quick so I'm chatting as my actual self? But that's like, we don't have time for that, right?
No.
No, right now you're Disco Biscuits.
Yeah, I'm Disco Biscuits. All right, great. I don't know. This is crazy. So, all right. So, what was the question? I'll answer the question first.
Well, the question was just sort of why we're here, what we're doing.
Oh, I don't even really know, to be honest with you. I don't know why we're here. You know what? It was all about, like, people enjoy these live streams as long as we tell them a couple days in advance that they happen. People don't seem to have a enjoyment based on what we say. It doesn't seem to correlate in any way. What we say to people doesn't really matter. But if we tell them in advance we're going to be on YouTube, what did we tell them for this one?
Well, I think we told them we were going to talk about the show. We were going to talk about the fundraising campaign that we've just launched, and we talk about why we're raising funds and where the show's going next, and essentially why we need money and what we're going to do with it, and kind of our big plans. I feel like we've hinted at it a little bit. We kind of referred to it in the pitch video we made from John's backyard. But there's a lot there, and I think we're kind of at this really exciting moment where we have the first iteration. We were much more sort of creators out of the gate. There wasn't a lot of the administration and production side of things sort of took care of itself. This one seems to be a bit more time and particularly money intensive, and so that's kind of why we're here, because we want to get that stuff out of the way and get back to writing, which I think we're really excited and thrilled to be doing.
Well, weren't we going to use some of this meeting to do some writing, or at least do some organization as far as the writing goes? Like some things we might want some audience participation in. We have a lot of new ideas for songs that are going to go into the new workshop, and we want to play you guys some of those ideas and get some, see how you're feeling about different stuff, whether you guys really like stuff or not. And we'll play you what we have. You know what I mean? This is very much just applying music to song ideas and what that process is like. And we're going to be doing a little bit of that today as well.
Cool. Sounds great. So you want to start it off? Well, I was thinking that we could all. Why don't we? Because I don't think a lot of people have any sense of really what the show had looked or sounded like the first time. We've played some really short clips in recent days, but I was thinking each of us could pick a moment from the first show, and we could just kind of point you to it. John, you can pull it up on your computer, and then sort of we can talk through what's going on there and where we think that song or that moment is going to figure in sort of future iterations of the show.
Right. That's the question. Is for workshop 2, what gets the boot? You know what I mean? We got to get like a boot that swings through the studio, and we like.
I mean, that's kind of hard, man. All of them were, I love all my children equally.
We're ugly though, so like they got to get the total boot out of this place. Look, it's like I found out that like when you own clothes, everybody has clothes, right? You have your clothes, you have your collection of clothes, like in your house, you have to throw out at least one item of clothes every couple of months, or it just gets unwieldy. Like you have to be constantly throwing things away. So I think we do have to throw away at least one song from workshop 1 to workshop 2.
That's very disciplined of you. You do that? You go through and just throw clothes away?
I did it today.
Man.
It was a sad day. It was a sad day.
I just throw it in the back of my closet.
Yeah.
I was taking it out of there. I threw out my Aaron. Do you remember your Deb Disco Biscuits fuzzy? Your Deb fuzzy.
My Dead Fuzzy?
The D-O-B Disco Biscuit Fuzzy with the logo in the middle of it looks like Deb. Remember that one?
No.
That's
Oh, your yellow fleece one that you wore for like 25 years?
25 years.
All over Europe, I remember you wearing that thing. And then
that's right.
years afterwards, yeah. Uh-huh.
That was my Italian fashion statement right there. That's jacket. It randomly says Deb on the front. Let's go to Italy and show it off. That's funny. It's the dust today. 30 years I own there. 20 years I own there.
Yeah.
Probably only 10, but you know what I'm saying.
Did you send it off of a cliffside on a moped or a Vespa or anything sort of dramatic, or was it just straight to the rubbish bin?
I know.
Rubbish bin.
I felt it coming out. I couldn't stop it. I know.
Where us Americans put our rubbish. That's right.
All right. So what's your what do you think? What song do you think is on the bubble?
Well, hold on. We haven't talked everything through for the preamble, right? So
all right.
We're gonna do workshop 1. We're gonna listen to some songs from workshop 1 with the fans. The fans probably haven't heard these songs before, right? We're gonna do that tonight. We are going to listen to some of the music that we're composing. We're gonna watch the video of the composing sessions for the new music for workshop 2. So you're gonna hear what the workshop is, what's going on for workshop 2. We're going to make a lot of jokes. We're going to talk about our Indiegogo sponsorship and our basic fundraising efforts through the Indiegogo platform, where we're raising money for Workshop 2, mostly so we can do dancing and running around the stage and stuff like that. Like we want Workshop 2 to be a natural evolution and progression from Workshop 1. We think we have a way to do that, honestly. I mean, I think we're definitely going to get that done. So we have a fundraiser to help with that process, and that's on Indiegogo. And then in addition to that, we are going to basically have some live, we're actually going to do like a director's cut where we listen to music and talk over the music while we do the director's cut. So I don't know, that might be a lot for tonight, but
what are you up to for the next
all
2
4
hours?
of those segments, you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to doing all those things because they're on my to-do list anyways. Like we're literally doing our job live in front of the audience today on YouTube. Aaron, you ready?
Well, let's take a fan vote. You know, everybody's in the chat here. Where do you guys want to start?
Yeah, it's a good question. Hold on.
I mean, auction old memorabilia. Yeah, should we start? Let's see. Where should we start?
I don't know. Let's do. I don't know. It's so hard. So hard. No, but let's start on the fundraiser because we have to. We don't have a choice. We have a contract.
Okay. Let me just say a quick second about what are the things, and then Aaron, I'll hand it off to you because anytime you open your mouth, Aaron, I just suddenly start shoving money your way. So I feel like you're very persuasive like that. You know, not in a grotesque way, people. But I'll just stop there. All right. So what I was gonna say is that after workshop 1, we identified like several areas that we wanted to improve the show. One of them was to try to get actors off book, to get them so that they didn't have to be standing at music stands. Second one is to bring on a director, which we've done. We actually have 2 directors now, which is going to be a real force multiplier. The third was to think about a little bit of staging or lighting, which we're in the process of doing. The fourth was to write more music and sort of revisit parts of the story that we didn't think were working as well as they could have. And the fifth was to, what was the fifth? I feel like there was a fifth piece there. Oh, maybe a little bit of choreography. So that's kind of like what we wanted, and that's why the budget has expanded as well.
Badass lights and choreography, right? Badass.
Yeah. So, Aaron, what were you? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I wasn't even talking.
Well, you had thoughts. You were about to be persuasive.
I mean, it's a really what we're finding out, what we were kind of told, but now we're actually in that part of the development of the musical is that it's a very long runway. So we come from a world, John and I come from a world in which, we get together, we rehearse, we get some material together, whether it's with the Disco Biscuits or any other project. And then the only way to have it come alive is to put it on stage in front of an audience. And whereas that part is sort of true within the theater world as well, there's this whole other aspect of rewrites and revisions and edits, and this happens constantly throughout the process. And the only way to have these things be able to come to reality after we've already done a bunch of rewrites and new material and all that type of stuff is to not only see how it works with actors on stage, but see how it works with actors on stage in front of an audience. And there's a little bit of a disconnect with how the theater world wants to kind of operate and is advising us how to operate with, we do these workshops and then, we just test it out in front of a very small group of people or no groups of people. And then, we do a bunch of rewrites and then 6 months later we do it again. And these, musicals take years and years to develop. We're kind of bringing this mentality of we're performers and we want to bring this new art form that we've all entered into. We want to bring that to the world of Bisco. We want to bring that to, people who appreciate, musical theater or live performances, and kind of, in the vein of the Disco Biscuits being a jam band and walking on a tightrope without a net, a little bit of that, it's not ready for prime time, but that's kind of the points of this. And everybody becomes a little bit more involved and a little bit more immersed. When we did the performance for Workshop 1, we got a lot of fan feedback afterwards. We did a Q&A session, a lot of things that we weren't aware of, a lot of things that made us think and go back to the drawing board from. So this long runway is not just about the rewrites, but now it's about assembling a bigger team to help us with all these different processes. So we just hired a director, a rock star of a director, and our musical director is returning. There's going to be a little bit of a switch up from some cast members. Some cast members will be returning as well, and all these things take an exceptional amount of money. And I think involving our fan base, and our supporters, and for that matter, just patrons of the arts in order to help this get to that next level on the runway is super important. Nick?
Yeah. I mean, all of that. And I think we were sort of surprised, I'll say, that we could stand up the first round. I mean, we paid out of pocket for the first round, for the first workshop, and we have yet to have earned a single penny. We have yet to we haven't pocketed a cent. So it's a bit of okay, if we want these 5 things to be better, the budget's just kind of ballooned, and all of a sudden now we realize that with the talent that we have here with John and Aron as composers, that kind of anything is possible, and that's been really exciting. And just trying to then figure out to maximize, do we want longer songs, more electronic sort of elements, more, what is the band? Oh, that was the other piece that there will be more than just a piano this next time. We are in the process of working through the orchestration and figuring out what that sounds like, but there will be a fuller sound for sure. So why don't we pull up how about voices?
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. We got in the chat right now. I posted a link to the Indiegogo and I pinned it to the thing. Anybody wants to go buy a coffee, go for it. We need to drum up some support at the normal amounts of money, because the airship tycoons are the people who are donating $250 or more. There's a lot of them, and we need more people donating $10, $20, because you still get immediate
or $250
or $250 if you want, but we need more 20s. If you're a 20, definitely hop in there, because I got a little bit of money on the line that there's going to be more 20s than anybody else.
Well, let me remind John and Aron, as well as folks who are listening, what's on the line. So
what's on the line? Tell us.
Earlier this month, maybe at the end of July, I can't remember when it was. A few weeks ago, we were in John's basement and discussing sort of where the lion's share of the fundraising was going to come from. And Aron, being, you see Aron, he's got a swanky kitchen, and Aron was of the mindset that it's going to come from the fat cats of this world, that the big donors are going to be the one who dominate. John, he's more of a man of the people, he thinks, he says. He was pushing for that the rebels, the man on the street was going to be the one who was going to dominate the fundraising. And so the wager was whoever loses has to wear entire denim outfit. Now, I thought about this. There is a little bit of a loophole there that I worried about because I was thinking about you, John. I was like, all right, look, John can't just wear a denim jumpsuit. That's an easy out. It has to be denim jeans and denim jean jacket. All right, so the loser has to wear a denim outfit at the next at the Disco Biscuit show that follows this bet.
I, for some reason, thought it was skiing down a mountain.
No,
Am I
that was
wrong
the
about
beginning.
that?
That was superseded.
Okay.
It's skiing down a mountain. It is, or something equivalent to that.
No, it was cowboy.
Why are we assuming I'm losing? I'm behind right now, folks out there watching.
It was cowboy. It was cowboy tuxedo or cowboy costume or something. Canadian tuxedo.
I thought I was going to win by a ton. I thought I was going to win by like 5 miles. But we have 45 days left or something of this whole process. So, or 15, 20 days, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a big difference, I understand. But yeah, I'm
right.
losing by a little bit. If you want to do 20, folks, links on the chat. I got to catch up to these guys.
The Bernie Sanders method.
I think I should wear a bikini and do the list. So that's we'd probably do more donations if that was the case. But we're gonna do Canadian tuxedo because we are really one with Canada. We really love Canada. And all right, so in the chat we have a couple requests. The first person who jumped into the chat, basically said that he wants to hear whatever we're gonna cut from show 1 to show 2. And then somebody else said that they want to hear Coronado's Dream and potentially Secret Plan. So I would say maybe we start. Why don't we start there? Let's be exciting. What song are we cutting? Let's decide right now.
Well, I think that Not Always This Way is going to sound very different in the next version than the current version. Mm. And I think that it's going to sound very different because I think that it's going to be less of a sort of sad song, sort of sappy appeal to bygone days, and it's going to be more of a swing. So I was even thinking today it's going to sound more sort of big band swing. So a little bit more pep to it, and it can still be sort of there can still be some really quick banter and sort of verses throughout that. Have the same melody, but just be 3 times the tempo.
You really Interesting. Want to do that? You want to? Okay. The most beautifully melodic song in the whole workshop.
Right. This is the first time, just in case anyone's wondering. This is the first time that I've tabled it. Your piano doesn't sound as sweet as it did. I don't know what happened.
What happened to your piano?
There we go.
So loud. Crazy loud.
It is too loud. Okay.
Like
now
I fell into the piano.
Wasn't that it? Something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, is this way? All right, let's start with that one. Can we watch the video from that one? How do we do the video?
Yeah. If you go, John,
into... wait for us to have our faces on the screen so that we can talk over the video, or do you want me to?
Ooh, that's gonna be
Dan Blair, in for the Rebels. We got a rebel. Just remember, folks, if you want to donate $250, donate $249 and save $1. Be a rebel. Don't be a fat cat urban airship tycoon loser. And let's get that tuxedo on Aron right there. Get that tuxedo on Aron. That's so great.
All right, are you pulling it up and screen sharing it?
You want me to? I can.
Yeah, do it, because I think your computer may be able to handle more things at once than mine can.
All right, so just give me a second here. I got this right here. Blah 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 blah. There we go.
So also, I'll just say while you're pulling that up, the reason I was thinking about this song too is that right now this song it's the equivalent of what journalists call a nut graph, which is, when you're reading a long piece and it's like it's all sort of scene setting in the beginning, and then there's that paragraph, one or two paragraphs in that's like, last year's, this is a reflection of what it means for the local school systems that this boy, doesn't have books or something like that. It's like that's the exposition, that's the thing you have to know. And so right now we have this quandary where Not Always This Way is all of this backstory that you need to know, but I'm not sure that we're delivering it in a way that feels natural and narrative, and therefore I was thinking about how we can sort of take some of that information and put it into scene or put it into character interaction and not just straight sort of character plead to the audience of like, hey, this is what you need to know for the next hour and a half. And so that got me into thinking about the song, and then as I was thinking about it, I was thinking about musically how the song might also change, or there might be ways to kind of play with the structure of it a bit.
All right, cool. I like that. All right, let's try it. Ready? I'm going to move this. Let me just do a little share screen action here. Boom. All right. How do we put our faces through to YouTube on that, Drew? Do you know how to do that? Is there a setting we can do? I gotta share sound, right?
Mm-hmm. I think once you hit the play button, it'll go, right?
Yeah, you ready? I just like this shot because she looks like she's yawning, and Coronado looks like he's like really feeling it right now. This is to people out there. This is our This is the gang right here from the first workshop. From left to right on the pianos, Alex Bechtel. Then we have Jaime, and we have Hannah, and then we have Mateo, and then we have Jenna, and then we have Dan Higby. Here we go.
His wife in bed.
I don't know where the beginning is, but I think it's
On my shoulder. Hi, everybody.
You guys can see us. Can you see our faces too? Over the top of it?
It was not always this way. Every New Year's Day, I used to wake up and find an envelope under my pillow that no one ever signed. It had a couple $100, crisp notes you rarely saw, but in small denominations I could easily pass off. It was not always this way. Sure, the previous regime was an old school monarchy, ruled by a king, and we were made to kiss the ring, though he was gentle in his manner, not a snaky, sneaky coup planner. But the king dared to drop his guard, and his guard put a dagger through his heart. It was not always this way. Slayed him and his wife in bed. Manila said, long live the king is dead. But the coup was about more than just a sack. So my stipend stopped coming after that. You see, it was not always this way. Ever since the push and the death of the king and queen, 3 New Year's days have gone by, and those envelopes I haven't seen, which leaves some questions which even I'm too smart to ask. 'Cause if my sponsors were the king and queen, a whiff of association and I'd not last. It was not always this way. But without those those crucial dollars, I'm no better off than dead. Digging through the garbage for some way to be fed. So there's two things I'm after, and I'd settle for either one. Solve the mystery of those New Year's gifts, or fly off to the setting sun.
It was not always this way.
No, you can't do it now.
All right. That was that song. You want to change that song?
Well,
Okay.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about this. This would probably be the first one on the chopping block, only because I want to protect the other ones at all costs.
I mean,
Yeah.
look, it's let me cancel this screen and get back.
it's a gorgeous song.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful song. Yeah, but it's really just a narrative. So
Right.
We should let the cat out of the bag with that particular song. We wrote that song like 2 days before the show.
Yeah.
And that song is like kind of like we liked that one during the show. We thought, we were really happy with the melodic content, the chill. It's the third song in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it really calms people down. You're at a show.
Right.
The first two songs are a little crazy. That
Right.
song has that melodic, beautiful moment. It's very dreamy, and it takes you away into this place that is, the fantasy of the show. And we really liked that. So I feel like, and we just put that together. That's like why you do these shows. So you get a deadline, and then you have to throw something nice together like that. I think this one's on the chopping block for sure. I think for every workshop, we should redo this song. With that in mind.
The intention of this song, aside from telling narrative, and I 100% agree with you, it kind of calms everybody down. It's a little bit more of a passive listening experience where you could just kind of mellow into your seat, absorb the storyline a little bit, start to make some connections on your own of what's going on or what may be happening. But it's less of a song than it is like a vamp, right? A kind of funky vamp. And I could totally see once we build out the orchestration in this next round of the workshops, that this could have the potential to be something really, hot. But as for just having a piano and just the narrative, it was just a vamp with, a storytelling on top, which is kind of an essential part of, musical stylings, right? Not all the songs can be that way, but it definitely it serves a purpose to move the ball forward without having to, do another song and do another trick and another dance and everything like that. So it serves a purpose, but if it had to be cut, I would be okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And I also just think, the more that we're kind of, I feel as well that was 3 or 4 days beforehand, and we realized there were all of these assumptions that we knew, but that the audience was going to have no idea. And it was like, all right, well, if we don't give them this connective tissue, those two songs are not everything that follows is not going to make any sense. And so, yeah, it was we kind of had these manic writing sessions in the days leading up to the workshop and in the nights that the workshop started. And I feel like that was one of them where we're like, oh, perfect, this will fit in there nicely. What song are you guys currently of the existing songs most excited to hear reimagined with a band?
Here, hold on a second. Before we jump into that, let me just grab the chats. There's a couple actually interesting points on this song. So let's stay on with this one for a second.
Yep.
So let me just tell you what's going on in the chat. Davey Dredd is wondering if this is from the first or second show.
Were you at both, Davey Dredd?
I don't know if he was at both, but maybe he wasn't. But I don't remember which show was that from.
That was the second show, I'm pretty sure. Those are all from the second show.
Yeah, that's second show. All the videos are second show from tonight. All the videos are second show. RG3 says great song for the musical, not a good song for a biscuit show. So that's his thought. Music Man 224 said I thought it was really cool. Makes me want to hear more of the story. Catchy and has a nice groove. So what I'm hearing through this okay, and then DJep says the song doesn't have to have one vibe through it. The song doesn't have one vibe throughout. There could be breaks with slower tempo and exposition. All right, so
that's true. It only has that one vibe. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, what do we? Let's rewrite it like you were talking about, Nick. Like up a tempo, make a new. It seems like people are getting the purpose of the song out of it, which is like, what the hell is going on with these characters? Like, what is this show about? Like, that's what that song is.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta. It's weird when you're making more of directly, literally making a movie on stage. Dan Blair likes the part where she admits that she eats garbage. But besides that, he's okay with leaving it. So, all right, so let's do that. Let's just keep the garbage part in, and I wish we had the boot. We could swing the boot right now. All right.
I mean, we do have someone's put in a hatchet. Jig Grinder has got the hatchet as the logo.
Yeah, look at that.
For what doesn't make the cut.
Yeah, I love that. He wants to cut it. Yes, that's good. All right, so there we go. Let's cut it. We'll cut it.
I like the part where she admits she's eating garbage.
We'll cut it. We'll keep the garbage part. And
I mean, she's dumpster diving, right? She's a scavenger. She's an orphan. She's trying to figure out how to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, yeah. So let's talk about what song are you most excited to hear as we kind of are building out the band and thinking about new instrumentation and all that.
I have an answer for this question. I know exactly the answer to this question. I really think "Take Me With You" is the song that crushes with the band.
Yeah, I think it's the next one I think it's awesome.
What was your first thought, Aaron?
Oh, I don't know. I want to hear all of them come alive with the band. I have no first thought.
Wow. No baby, man.
Switzerland. So we're talking to Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Whatever song you want. Just I love the band on everything. Just don't leave us out of your wars. You know what I mean? This is okay.
Well, and also, I mean, the part of
band's fine everywhere.
The part of "Take Me With You" that comes through in the rehearsal session tapes that didn't quite make the jump in the in the orchestration is also that sort of extended Very Moon jam section that I feel like also takes that song from being this. It just has such an uplifting kind of moment there in between these manic verses.
Wasn't it Above the Waves?
It was both. It was alternating.
Aaron, you gotta sort your mic out, bro. What happened?
I don't know. You can't hear me, but the piano's loud, but my voice is not.
Yeah,
you gotta
my voice is not.
You should be like the guy in Police Academy or whatever that like doesn't talk. He just goes piano. You know what I mean? Like facial gestures plus piano notes. It'll be like so Star Wars.
Yeah, piano too loud, right? What's it?
Piano sounded great, man.
I don't know. No, Nick, when I sang them on top of his piano, was it like not lined up correct?
No. Try it.
Take me with you. Let me try and do the book. Take me with you. I don't know and I don't care.
No, it's a little bit off.
Can't tell you.
It's hard to know whether that's latency, whether that's just you forgetting the song, though.
No, it's Zoom being. Get your act together, Zoom.
Yeah, can you pull it up?
There's flying cars, for Christ's sake. Can we please do that on time? Let me see here. Let me see. All right, so you want me to pull that one up? There we go. All right, so here. I don't care.
Might actually, is it the one that's? I think it's the second. I think it's one of the. I think it's the very. I think it's on the file that's Very Moon into Take Me With You. I think it's tagged that way as it's part of one. It's part of the Very Moon song file.
All right, so we got a couple donors real quick. We got Rebecca Vandekar, Dan Blair, Katina Love, and Dave Rolfing, Davey Dredd, all in the Rebels. And then we have Michael Rosenfeld, who decided to join the Fat Cats, which I'm not happy about that, Michael. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure I'm just, could have been on my team, Michael. You could have, but no, not possible. All right, so let's move on here.
Moving on.
All right, so we're gonna do "Take Me With You," night 2. Where is this thing?
It's in the Very Moon file.
It is.
If you go, I think it's song number 7 or 8.
Got it. I gotta say, these jumpsuits look great.
Mm-hmm.
Jumpsuits.
Yeah, I did get a.
Leora
You're not sharing,
stands
so.
the table.
Hold on, John. Share the screen first. Yeah.
Let me show the screen.
What happened to Aaron? He left us.
Did he?
Couldn't stand the heat. He was feeling self-conscious about his mic.
I know, right? I know. We're making too much fun of him, I think.
On his watch.
And the
Leora meets Coronado in the kitchen.
Hold on, John. I don't know if the screen is frozen.
Where?
Did not share sound.
No, it's sharing sound, but it looks like the screen's frozen. Is it frozen for anyone else?
Oh, maybe I did the wrong screen. No, it says I did the right screen. Let's try it again.
Try it again. And back.
Oh, I see what was going on. That was my bad. I have too many screens open. There we go. All right, we good now? There we go.
In the kitchen.
All right, this, I think with the band, this song's happening.
Where? How? No, don't believe them on the flight. I haven't solved the science, I'm still trying to get it right. What? Leora! Not me. Where? Why? When? What?
Wow. Now, my thought on that one is essentially it's a pretty normal song. It's a standardy, like, kind of
Oompa oompa.
Yeah, it's oompa oompa, kind of like there's a lot of different takes on that song from all around the world. And I think the reason that would be cool, like once we put that on a band, we're gonna get our take on that song. You know what I mean? Which we really wouldn't do live in the Biscuits because it would be a little campy for the Biscuits. But for this type of show, we could do something really wild and crazy for this song that is like very biscuity and cool, and yet still it's inside of this kind of like standard thing. So that's why I think this song's a fun. Actually, it's going to be really fun once the band comes in on it.
Yeah, and I also feel like it has like a Middle Eastern sort of, Roma, Eastern European kind of gypsy vibe to it that I think you can play with some unconventional, sort of unfamiliar instruments as well to really kind of increase that dervishy sense as well as it heads into the third verse.
Yeah. RG3 says he's picturing Alan, our drummer, singing the song. So I like that, RG. Staying on topic. There's a lot of fiery emojis and stuff along with that one. People seem to like that one. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. What else? What should be our let's talk about maybe one more, and then we can talk a little bit about kind of what we're making.
Secret plan.
Yeah.
That what to cut? You think to
Well,
cut?
actually, let's give it.
No.
What about one? Well, we could talk about Secret Plan. Well, I feel like we should do one Biscuit song that we feel like was
Okay.
also reimagined. Particularly, I mean, my voice was voiced to be Eulogy or Voices, but I'm open. Whatever you guys think.
I'd like to listen to both of those, frankly. I feel like Voices walking out of the show, my thought was, how great is it that I was able to park next to the theater? That was my first thought. But also, I really thought Voices worked in a setting of 5 singers and a piano. I thought Voices really worked well. What do you think, Aaron? Was that your thought on that one?
Yeah. So I think there was a couple of times early in the process where we were really amazed at the power of all 5 cast members singing simultaneously. And we started to lean into that a little bit, and of course it is, right? A choir has a much more powerful sound than just like one person singing. An orchestra has a much more powerful sound than just, one violin. And then when we started breaking it up into, not just singing in unison and having that power, but singing with some harmonies in there too, stuff got really powerful. And that, I think, was the first moments where we got chills. Watching these songs come to life, there was, chills kind of there for the first time. But once we started hearing the power of breaking the females off into, soprano and mezzo sopranos and, the males into some lower and baritone registers and having that full spectrum I'm getting goosebumps just kind of thinking about it. And now that we have afforded ourselves a little bit more time and hopefully a little bit more money to be able to, exercise this, I think that the powerful ability to, have these musicians and these singers kind of take these songs and orchestrate them into what they potentially could be is just going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's really wild. And why don't we watch that one? Let's do that one now.
It's also, there was something about Brian introduced an effect in Voices, the echo on that.
Oh,
was
that's
also-
right.
And I thought
Yeah.
that was the point where I started realizing that when we start bringing more to bear in this show, how layered, how full, how much more sort of multidimensional from an auditory sense this show can be. When that was the only effect we played with the entire time, and you're like, oh man, even that was it just suddenly made the thing feel that much more textured. So that, I think, is part of what's really exciting going into the next one as well. Just to how do we bring all of that to bear, more of that to bear.
And he did a much better job with that, the voice is insane, again, playing around with the delays to kind of make it seem like, all those voices in his head. Did an incredible job with that. And a much better job than his splashes. Brian is incredible. He's one of our sound engineers, and he did the sound for this performance, and we love him, and he did a great job. But he literally has a a green button, and you press the green button and it causes the sound effect. And once you press the green button, it goes down to the next sound effect. And when you're ready, you hit the green button again. And I think he like got like anxious or something like that. And it was like, Leora steps and splash.
He's Brian. Aaron is saying this with the deepest amount of love. The deepest
Love, all love.
And just remember, folks, that Aaron will have to wear a Canadian tuxedo if you donate $20 right now to our Indiegogo platform.
You can hear the elitism in his voice.
You can hear it.
And if Brian
Donate.
triggers the wrong sound effect at the wrong time, what happens then? Also Canadian tuxedo?
At the moment, we can't afford Brian, so we'll have to call Brian and tell him he's fired, or couldn't keep him on for the next version of this. But I'm sure he would do it for free. That's what's amazing about Brian, is Brian loves the show so much he would do it for free. Let's watch the fruit of Brian's labor here, because Brian recorded all of the audio for us. So the reason that we're able to play these and they sound so great is because Brian recorded them all. But they're all named weird.
You don't have the video yet, dude.
All right, I'm gone.
I admit it,
Whoa,
You don't have the video yet.
I know I'm gone
I was guilty. But don't you believe it,
there. There we go. We're in.
that I was wrong?
Little voice is insane.
I never accepted my relocation, and I'm looking out past them, 5 hours till dawn. I dreamed of this day since they locked away the key. Since they locked away the key, a prisoner in chains. Will not make a madman of me. Will not make a madman of me. And these voices insane,
Telling me tales from the stars.
telling me tales from the stars. So I call on the rain.
Forces drawn in from afar.
Forces drawn in from afar. These walls have deceived me. I imagined this all on my own. And these spirits around me, clouds of dust looking for a new home. When they tap on my shoulder, tell me that I got what I deserve, I throw my arms up and destroy them, 'cause this day they will eat all their words. I've dreamed of this day.
Since they locked away the key.
Since they locked away the key, a prisoner in chains.
Will not make a madman of me.
Will not make a madman of me. And these voices insane,
Telling me tales from the stars.
telling me tales from the stars. So I call on the rain.
Forces drawn in from afar.
Voices drawn in from afar. Stop all the voices and bang on the walls with my fists, but my only choice left is the one I would never dismiss. I hear the world through the echoes, a song of life through the noise in the crowd, but in this cell I've known plainly that what I want is what is not allowed. I've dreamed of this day.
Since they locked away the key.
Since they locked away the key, a prisoner in chains.
Will not make a madman of me.
Will not make a madman
Mateo, how awesome is Mateo? I mean, the guy he's just so sexy. You know what I mean? It just to hear him singing the words that I wrote when I was like 20 or something, I was in a sexy period in my life when I wrote that song, and to have Mateo up there just killing it. Oh my God, that guy's voice is incredible. I could listen to him sing all day. Super lucky to have had him in the, on the first. We can't have the same people every workshop because we need to change it up and we need to see what the character is like with different people. So this next workshop, we're really going to have a lot of different people. And I don't know why we are not just doing Mateo again, but we're going to change that role. But we got to have Mateo back. I mean, we got to have him back for workshop 3 or whatever happens because, I just love that. The guy kills it. He's the best guy in the business from my point of view.
He's awesome. He's awesome. And I think, there were two thoughts listening to that. One of which I was thinking, you mentioned this when they started rehearsing, but is that the only time, you probably heard people cover Biscuit songs, but that's probably got to be one of the few times that you've heard someone really nail the vocals on a song that you wrote a very long time ago.
First time. That was the whole point of doing workshop 1. If you remember, so when we put workshop 1 together, we set the bar low because how do you set the bar high for something like this? And the bar was people singing the songs without us being on stage, right? Wasn't that the goal, Aaron? Was just let's just put people on stage singing the songs. We're not there. We're off stage watching. And then we had to write 12, 15, 16 more songs to make that feel like a story. And so, once we got into the story and how to tell the story, then it was let's write a bunch more music. But the original goal of just having people sing the music, Mateo, what would happen if the Biscuits were playing the Voice is Insane and Mateo was singing it? That would be crazy. It would be really amazing. People online are saying Sinatra voice in prison pajamas. He's a whole vibe, that looks like Wolverine and sings like Sinatra.
You got to tell him that. He'll get a kick out of that.
Yeah, that's funny. Alex killed that as well. You gotta love it.
Well, that's the thing. I was just thinking, this is one of the cultural. This is one of the kind of cultural changes that took some acquainting, which is that typically a Biscuit song will have multiple choruses. You just keep going. You get the fist pumps get higher. You sing it a little louder the next time around. And we started bringing these songs to the theater people. They were like, really? 2 choruses max. Triple, way too much. You guys are all 12 choruses, but double choruses and people are going to start walking out. And so this is one of those examples I do feel like where we heard multiple choruses and heard sort of extended instrumental sections, and we were just like, we've got to truncate this song in a massive way. And we started pulling slices of the song out to try to make it feel more condensed.
Yeah, it's interesting that live with the Biscuits, you can do a chorus. People tell me, what do we have a term for it? Laps. We call it laps in the Biscuits. It's when you get into that groovy chorus moment, take a few laps, which the Biscuits, I'm always trying to get the transition to work. And then we have people like people tell us, once you get into the chorus, take a lap, be in the chorus for a while, sing a bunch of times and enjoy it and make it a vibe. Theater, totally different. Do the chorus once, and if you're going to do it twice, you got to have a really, really good reason. And never go to 3. Never go to 3.
Now we found that out the hard way. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Go ahead. Tell the story.
So, as we're working with these actors that were, incredibly professional and bringing our concept to life, but also drinking water out of a fire hose to, get all these songs done and, ready for this performance that we were doing. We kind of we were looking for some verification that what the 3 of us had done that we were kind of proud of, but still didn't know whether it would fly. We were looking for a little bit of that feedback from the actors, right? Just like, oh man, this is a great song. I love this one. And that would have gone so far with us. But instead, they, were so professional that it was just like they had their job to do, and they were lighthearted and we all got along and, became friends and all that type of stuff. But we were kind of unable to get a read from them during the rehearsal process, whether they even liked what they were doing or whether it was just a job. Now, later we found out that, they liked it and it was a job, and it was just that they're so professional that, there is no time to be like, dude, this one's fly,
The military, yeah, precision. Military
So,
precision.
right. So one of the actors, he kind of just like, I think by like the third song that had multiple choruses, he kind of just like had enough. And he was like, I can't do any more choruses. And we were like, whoa, okay,
Yeah,
we
you,
can
like, level.
cut a chorus. Like, that's not a problem. And he was like, you have to cut a chorus. And we,
level.
learned, right. And we learned the hard way that these, like Nick was saying, these things work great when, you're singing along and you're at a concert. And, what the Biscuits do fantastically is, continue to peak and peak and peak, right? So we can sing, 67 choruses, and John can continue to, bring the energy up at the top of the chorus with the guitar, and, Dallin can whip it around, and, nobody's none the wiser. We're all just having fun and we're getting more and more excited. But in the theater world, you kind of seemingly need to say what you need to say and then get out.
Yeah,
Right.
because on stage you create this vibe in this moment, and that the music is everything with the lights, right? Like that's the combination. And so you want to
Right.
get into something and brew up some frenzy, but in theater there's so much visual and like drama that people get engrossed in it, and if you loop something, then it's almost like like Jimmy Two Times from Goodfellas. Like it's almost like you're saying people already know.
Get the
They hear
papers, get the
line.
papers.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like that. Like it's a little bit of a weird thing. It's like a hiccup for a songwriter, and we were doing that hiccup for Workshop One, but we're good now. All right, so let's switch gears for a second.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
have
was going to ask. Let me ask you real quick, just in terms of the time, because we've kept people for a while. Do we want to
We want to
say? Do we want to do this again in a week and save some stuff to talk about? Do we want to play a little snippet of what we're working on now and then take some and then go through a few questions? I mean, we've been on for an hour and an hour.
I have a gripe real quick.
All right.
All right, so you're Pamela Schmidle. Who's Pamela Schmidle? Who's
My
that?
mom, dude.
Your mom. Okay. Your mom just voted for Aaron.
She she voted. She voted for what?
She voted for Aaron. She could have put $249 down. Voted with me. She voting. And instead, she put $250 down. I'm looking at it right here, and now your mom is clearly voting with Aaron.
Well, I mean, she, after a week after this show, she went to the Spaga show. She's on Biscuits tour, but she only wants to go to the Biscuit shows where Aaron is leading.
Oh, great. I was so polite too. I was so polite, and I should have known backstage that she was going to turn on me, because I was like, "Oh, thanks, Mom, how wonderful to meet you." You know what I mean? I was like I was 15 and my mom was watching. That's how polite I was to your mom when we met.
Now we know it's all an act.
Yeah, now it's totally an act. Come on. I'm going to introduce you to my mom. We'll see what you do. You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll see real Nick Schmidle. Come on. I'll give you a couple shots of whiskey and then introduce you to my mom. And my dad and my mom. I don't know. My grandparents used to tote whiskey on the day to day, so it wouldn't be that weird to them. My grandparents were whiskey toters. And what do you do? So, anyways, what's next?
Well, it's a question. Do we want to? I mean, this is fun. Do we want to just do this again for an hour in a week? Do we want to end on a snippet from the last one, a snippet from this one, or take some questions?
Great question. I mean, look, we didn't play like we only played what, 3 songs?
I know.
We haven't done Eulogy. We haven't done Coronado's Dream. We could do Falling again. Obviously, we could do Falling.
I mean,
Biscuits verse.
Hacklett's Blade.
Fairy Moon. We didn't do Hacklett's Blade. Oh man, and we have to do this because the people have to know the songs, right? Like they don't even know the songs, so we need to do this. So, but can we do something from the next workshop material?
Let's see.
Because like that's otherwise I have to
So
do that when we get off the YouTube. So let's just do it now live. So
yeah, should we? Should I just? I mean, I'll just pull up. I don't know exactly. I don't have these timestamps particularly well. Should I just pull up a clip and we can just sort of watch it for a few minutes as to what the composing sessions have looked like?
yeah, let's just watch for like 30 seconds or something, or a minute if it's good. I mean,
Okay.
the preamble is, folks, we are in the studio. We are going through like plot points for the potential next workshop. We haven't decided them definitely, but we're talking about them and we're trying to make them work, is what we are. Because if they work, then we build on top of that. And so we're just kind of throwing music at plot ideas and then trying to write the song real quick if we get something we like. You know, if we get something we like, we're like, oh, let's blah, 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 blah. And we try and make a song appear out of nothing as quick as possible. So let's watch that.
Right. I think it's important to say, yes, that is the process, but it's just the genesis of the song that needs to kind of appear. And then we need to cultivate it to become the song that it eventually becomes on stage.
Yeah.
And remember, if you want to take my side against Nick's mom, $249 or less. I'll take $1, but just Nick's own mother, you will join me. You will join me on my team.
All right. All right. This is pretty fun. Okay, so give me a quick second. Share screen. How do I? Oh, dude, I'm not as good at this as you are. Share screen. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay. All right.
Forgot about this one.
What drum? How awesome was that drumming?
Let's see. So, yeah, pretty cool. I love that song.
Yeah, I mean, do we want to talk about like what the motivation for the concept of that was?
Yes. Yeah. So I think that this next version of the story is probably going to have a more overt political. It's going to be more sort of a story of rebellion, and it'll still be a story of invention. The hot air balloon is still central to the whole plot, but at this point, this is a sort of a declaration song, and there's a march to it, and it's sort of it's kind of the good guy march song, and potentially kind of a big triumphant, maybe Act 1 ender. And so that's kind of what we started with, was just me talking through what I thought was happening in the story at that point. And 15 minutes later, we were sort of off on this very kind of anthemic groove. So,
Um,
Yeah, very anthemic.
yeah,
Look,
you know, and it has like a marchy vibe to it, right? Um, and it's just I feel like it's more, you know, we were kind of talking about like a revolt, right? That might be
right.
happening in our you know, imaginary world that we're creating, right? And when that thought kind of when you were describing that to me, I was like, okay. And you know, I'm trying to take some concepts of musicals that, you know, are part of my vernacular, right? So I'm not just like writing random stuff, like it needs to kind of come. And I was like, okay, well, revolt, I think of Les Mis, and then I, you know, thought of like those songs, and I was like, okay, let me try and like tap into that energy. And then I kind of like thought about those revolt songs, and you know, like, do you hear the people singing the songs of angry men? And it's like, that doesn't sound angry at all, you know? It is the music of the people who will not be slaves again. Like, that's kind of the happiest revolt song of angry people I've ever heard. And so I you know, realized that, and then kind of wanted to take like, okay, if we're going to revolt and we don't fully know, you know, why everybody's revolting, what their motivation is, why we're, you know, getting all of these, you know, it's no longer just, you know, Leora or Coronado. Now we have the townspeople. We haven't even described them yet. But, you know, why, how many people are revolting? Are they going to be successful in their revolt? How long is the revolt going to last for? But there's something ominous in that chord progression, you know, which is kind of what a revolt is, right? You don't know how it's going to end. It's kind of like your last ditched effort to try and whatever, overturn a government, or, you know, to make sure that your cause is heard. So something needs to be ominous, and the music needs to reflect that. And those chord changes are kind of unexpected, yet it has a melody that is going to now be stuck in my head for the rest of the night. So these are the types of seeds that, you know, when we come together, and, you know, that genesis of a moment kind of like, you know, begins to happen. And it's cool that, you know, Nick is so steadfast on getting those moments recorded so that we can, you know, tap back into it and, you know, continue to evolve the song. And, you know, flash forward to 6 months from now, or 4 months from now, whenever the next workshops are going to be. I love remembering the Genesis moment and then being in the moment where it's finally realized, you know, and I love the Genesis moment where it's like we all look at each other and we're like, oh, this is going to be great. But it takes a lot of work and effort for that to become great. It's not just like, great, let's ship it. Here's a song, have the actors sing it. You know, now it takes months and months of revisions, musical revisions, lyrical revisions, input from the actors, input from the directors, all these things in order for these songs to kind of reach their potential. So since we're closing down, I'll just make one last appeal to everybody that's been tuning in with us for, you know, the last 75 minutes, and thank you. But, you know, again, these are the types of things that, you know, makes for a long runway. And it's not just the collaboration amongst the three of us, it's the collaboration of this larger team that we're collecting, you know, of this band that we're beginning to assemble to kind of orchestrate these songs. And, you know, it's with your help that can kind of like bring this whole thing to the stage. So if you have the means, please, there's a link. John can put it in the chat below if you're kind of just tuning in. You know, John is requesting that if you're a rebel, throw in $20. I'm requesting that I don't want to have to do this every single day to try and activate people. So if you have the means to throw in $250, $500, $1,000, please, let's like try and get to our goal so that we can get back to writing. And not wear tuxedos.
No, you're
Yeah,
wearing a tuxedo. You're wearing a tuxedo. We're getting some Rebel donations right now coming in. We're getting some Rebel donations, so it's
All right, well, and look, let's. This has been. I feel like this has been a blast. So why don't we let's pencil in to do this again in a week or so.
Can we listen to one more moment? Can we listen to the sewer song at least? Because we have to do it anyways. And nobody's kicking us off.
All right.
One more moment.
All right.
Links have been posted. Go Rebels, go! Let's do this, Rebels.
What's the concept behind the sewer song? You want to just introduce?
Well, there's a lot of story that still needs to be connected here, but essentially, Coronado is sneaking through a sewer, and he is being hunted, and he's sneaking through a sewer, and that's pretty much where we're at.
Cool.
Oh, wait, hold on. We have one question from Anamewa, which I think is pertinent to what's going on here. Is this story still being developed or changed, or is it finalized? So do we want to just answer, like, at what point in the process of Workshop 2 story is done? Like, where are we on that arc right now? What do you think?
I think we're very far from there.
Yeah.
I think we're very far. I was just talking to a screenwriter friend, and I was saying to him, I would love you to dramaturg this, and just kind of go through and tell me what storylines are weak and what can be developed better and where should we, what parts of the story feel flimsy. And so I feel like we have a big new architecture for the story that feels quasi-settled, but I feel like many of the details in the particular character storylines, it's kind of like, what does every character want in the beginning? And how do those wants evolve over the course of the show, and what do they believe in the beginning, and what do they believe at the end, and what does that sort of that arc of their development mean vis-a-vis the events and the songs? And so I feel like that filling in the lines, I feel like we potentially have the sort of outline, but all of the color and all of the drawing inside the lines still remains to be done.
Right, like the part about Mabel eating garbage. Is that still on the table?
I feel like Mabel is still an orphan who scavenges for her meals and is a dumpster diver. That detail feels fairly solid, but many others feel up in the air.
All right, I think that answers the question for Anami. Like, we're gonna work the story over every single day till show day, basically, and we might do that starting today. It is what it is. Let's watch something.
All right. The whole story, the continuum of the story as well. The arc of Quinn. Yeah.
That's a little avant-garde. Where does it progress to?
And then he comes in. So what if it's that so like in the beginning is him, you've got a full cycle of light chart's working again. Here's another pretty moment here, and then this is a good one to end on.
Is the camera person? Who's the camera person?
We'll get to that in a second.
Leora
Okay.
of some kind, like, if this was a Leora song, what would she be taking right now? If this was Leora's moment to be like, what would she be talking about?
Right. I don't know that this is so. It's I like this a lot. I don't know if it's Leora's state of mind. I feel like Leora at this point has never been more certain about anything. Leora's previous song will have been Fired by Defiance.
Right.
So Leora's like pretty set right now that like she's doing everything she should. She doesn't care anymore. This is yeah, keep going. Up in a way that you feel like something is just around the. Try that first.
All right. Yeah. That's what I remember.
I like that mood.
Yeah.
Coming out of the park still, yeah? Or is this new?
I don't know. I just like that color.
I like that color too. Okay, let me ask you this. Is there any way, can you play that with a little more tempo? Like if you played that at I love that. I love the mood. I love the melody. It'd be faster.
Faster.
Yeah. Definitely.
That should be the beginning of the song right there.
It could, you know, the thing is, it's actually double time the pace of the Manifesto March.
Yeah.
It's almost, it's like the end of the second act version of the Manifesto March.
Yeah.
After they've won in some ways.
Yes.
It's almost like Yankee, it's a cooler Yankee Doodle Dandy song.
Sorry.
Awesome. I love that.
That was cool. I mean, look, there's one version in there somewhere that is like, I think that idea really well fleshed out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's save it. I feel like we've teased it.
Find it. We'll tease it. I think, you know, next week, we're going to do this again next week, you know, because we did get today, we did Voices Insane, which means that everybody got to see Mateo sing. Not Always This Way was a little bit of Mateo and a little bit of Jenna. And then, yeah, obviously Alex playing piano. We didn't get a chance to feature Hannah, which is really who we should be featuring. You know what I mean? Like, we should definitely go do another show and watch a couple. Well, we did Take Me With You, right? That's Hannah.
Yeah. But there are a lot of really baller Hannah moments throughout this show.
There are some moments where it's, where it's like really crazy stuff.
Well, let's why don't we give us a day to sort of match up our schedules and figure out a time that we can do this next week or shortly thereafter. But I think that I feel like there's so much to still talk about, and like you said, we only talked about 3 or 4 songs, and there's a lot more that we could be taking questions about too. Someone is asking whether we need a violinist, which is a question that which we may.
Yes, we do need a violinist. Why not? We're gonna do Eulogy next time we do this. Probably we're definitely gonna do Imagine Me, which is like it's. I mean, if you want to cry, Imagine Me is the song. We're gonna get around to some of the hot air balloon stuff maybe, and more of the songwriting process.
Yeah.
Definitely want to add more of the songwriting process to let you guys in on that whole thing, because it's kind of cool. I think it's fun to watch. I mean, we have to go through those videos anyways, so you guys might as well do it with us. You know, we might as well do it here.
Awesome. You guys have any parting words? I'll just say thank you so much for watching, for tuning in, for bearing with us as we were a few minutes late. Hopefully, when we do this again, we will be ready to go at the moment. Yeah, it's been a blast. John, Aron, I'll let you guys take it from there.
I think we just end at this point. It's like, right, the Zoom thing where you gotta like, okay, bye, and then everybody has to press another button, and it's like awkward for 3 more seconds.
In other words, since it's me that has the controls, I need to say bye. I thought John was going to serenade us with one more bid to rally the rebels.
I mean, I definitely need to talk to the rebels because we're getting a couple more rebel donations. Joel Rebel, Aaron Daboine. You know, there's people coming in. There's the rebels coming in. We need more rebels because, you know, I wear cool things on stage already. I already dress cool on stage with the jumpsuits. They're so amazing, right? Right?
Yeah, but the jeans and the jeans with the jean jacket is going to be singular. It's going to be the one that people are like, I was there that night when John wore. And I feel like they should also have to be.
No one is going to say that. That will never happen. They're going to say that if Aaron wears the tuxedo. They're going to say that.
I think the reward here is just having everybody that contributes to the campaign know that, you know, they were a force to help this thing move forward. You know, it's true. Like the patrons of the arts is what it takes in order to help creativity continue to move forward, to help, you know, whether it's young artists or developing artists or artists that are trying to take the next step and need some assistance to do it. You know, this isn't, you know, we're not Silicon Valley and trying to just like raise billions of dollars on a valuation that doesn't make sense on some technology that may or may not even work. This is just art for art's sake. And I think that the purity of intention of us going into this project with that in mind is kind of what's so amazing about this project too. It was simply art for art's sake. We didn't do it with the intention of like, let's go to Broadway and rake in the millions. You know, it was just like, let's do something cool, and we're definitely getting a rise out of it. And then, you know, finding out we didn't know until those performances how, you know, meaningful and powerful it was for the people in that audience. It verified it for us that all the work that we had been doing was meaningful and powerful, and it gave us the motivation to continue into this next round. And I think that it's really cool to involve not just the 3 of us in that, and not just the people that, you know, are in those workshop performances, but all of the people that are, you know, contributing on Indiegogo right now and that want to help us attain that vision and kind of be a part of this project with us. So,
bravo. Well,
your vision is so much about like society and the world, and my vision is just about watching you be so hot on stage, and it's way too hot.
Right. An insulated tuxedo.
We'll raise it's just like,
the next round. We'll raise the bar, not just the tuxedo, but it needs to be insulated with Glad trash bags.
I was going flannel line, but Glad trash bags is taking it up a level.
Somebody thinks he's gonna win. That's what's going on right now. Just, like, walk into the winner's circle. It's like, yeah, why don't we add Glad trash bags? And why don't you put the bag on your
All right,
guys. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you soon.